All right, let me make sure we're broadcasting here. This.
If I was any good at a college sport, I would fuck college and go directly to the NBA or NFL and not give the college any more money. If I was an athlete of any caliber,
Yeah, but think about it. If you
those
look
kids are
at a
wasting their
professional
time.
football team,
What?
they get what? 16 games, more if it's extended, and that's it. I mean, for the whole year.
Yeah, but this
The-
college
the-
makes millions off these
The
kids.
the average NFL football player lasts 3 years.
Yeah, that's about it. Get your
And these
money and go,
colleges
man.
make millions. These kids get nothing, and people are like, no, they don't. They get a degree. Bullshit. They don't even go to class. They don't get a degree. They get nothing.
Some
moron when they
Yeah.
came out. When they went in,
I actually had, and hey, folks, by the way, Geocaching Podcast, we're just in a gab mood tonight. So you're cutting into us while we're talking about sports with that. I actually, and I can't think of the manager's name anymore. When I worked for Kmart International headquarters, one of my managers that worked in the area that I did actually was on the New York Jets the same time, right around Joe Namath. So just to give you an area.
That's the 70s.
Yeah, back in the 70s. He actually played with Joe Namath the whole shot. You want to take a guess how much they made?
Oh, 20 grand, maybe.
Yeah, 22 grand.
Yeah.
Was what they he
So
sits there and
they,
he
they,
watches.
they had jobs. They had,
Yeah, he
had
watched
jobs
one
inside the
but money was
Yep.
worth something
No,
in
it was
those
for the
days.
game. He says we would sit there now and watch what these people make and just cry. It's like
No, baseball
20
players would like have jobs in the off season.
Yeah. It's
They actually
holy
they were
cow.
like car salesmen and stuff like that.
Yeah, literally. All right. Well, hey, folks, how you doing? We got a good gabbing mood tonight. So good stuff. Welcome to the Geocaching Podcast. Once again, Google is not doing what it's supposed to do, so there's no bottom thirds or
Oh, it's gone still?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
still
look at that.
gone. So that's not working. So I figure we'll just start up the show and go from there and have a lot of fun. Let's see. So sit back, relax, get your favorite libation, your favorite snack. The Geocaching Podcast is coming at you more than ever right about now.
You want to know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome to the Geocaching Podcast, episode 525, recorded live on February 7th, 2018. I'm your host, Head Hard Hat with
Scott Bergs.
Taz 427 and
Info Ferret.
You can join our chat room and watch our live video stream, plus participate with us as we record this episode. All this and more can be found at www.geocachingpodcast.com/live. Be sure to contact us via our voicemail line at 630-31-VOICE. Also find us on Twitter at geocachingpodcast.com/Twitter and Facebook at geocachingpodcast.com/Facebook. This episode is sponsored by our good patrons of the Geocaching Podcast. To become a contributing patron, simply click on our Patreon or PayPal logos on our website to help keep our podcast going. From all of us at the Geocaching Podcast, we thank you. So yeah, sports is heavy on the discussion. If you're in the United States, of course, we had the Super Bowl. Many people love it, some not so much.
speaking
especially if
of
you're a patron.
sports, Scott, what did you lose a bet or something? Why are you wearing an Expos cap?
Yes.
Well, you don't like the Expos? What's wrong with the Expos?
I don't have a problem with them, but you're a big Cubby fan, so
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say, you've been
I'm
wearing
just
a
like,
Cubs
why are
hat
you
for like
why are you
5
wearing
years.
an
I
Expos?
don't have to judge because everybody knows I'm a diehard Cub fan. I think anybody who listens to this
Yes.
podcast knows. I can get away with wearing Expos hat because they know my loyalty is to the Cubbies.
There
Come on.
you go. Wow.
Okay.
You know.
Well,
But the Expos have a rocking hat. I mean, come on, it's the Expos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Andre Dawson played for the Expos. Come on.
walking down a main street in Wellington a couple of weeks ago, I saw somebody wearing a "Make America Great Again" cap.
Oh, that
God.
we want to get
I mean,
into
my
that.
first thought was to ask him had he lost a bet, because that's the only way I can see anybody in Wellington wearing one.
Yeah, that's another gab that I don't want to get into. I'm trying to keep Chad from biting at the bit here. So,
Yeah.
family show, just saying.
Yeah.
But anyhow, in the eastern part of the country, it's been wet, and it's that wonderful thing of bipolarism where one day it's like 38, the next day it's 70. Lots of rain. I think we over the past week or so we've got like 6 inches of rain, and just tons and tons going through there. So yeah, when I sometimes I have to park next to my wife where we have our house, and it's grass, and I literally felt the car go and start sinking, and it's like, oh, this can't
That's
be
not good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun. But that's how it is. I can imagine what the geocaches are going to be like right now, and I'm sure a lot of them they're going to have to go through. It's kind of like when you have a hurricane and that you have to go out and check your caches to see if they floated away or not.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those kind of things. So yeah, already. But yeah, not too much geocaching, but definitely a lot of puddle punching type things.
Did you say puddle punching?
Yeah, puddle punching or plutching or whatever you want to do with your puddles.
Watching.
Yes. You're right.
That's good stuff. So, Scott, it's not quite so warm where you're at.
No, it's Chicago in February. Come on, let's be realistic here. No, it's cold, and we're getting a ton of snow dumped on us. I don't know
How
if you
much are
looked
they
at the
talking?
weather map lately. What?
How much are
At
they
the
talking?
East Coast and us, it's just moving its way to us. So it's we're getting dumped on.
Yeah, we
But,
got lucky. The sleet got just west of us on the weekend, and we just got the rain.
But I did caching over the weekend. Did a nice. Got 3 FTFs, so that makes 109 months in a row and counting.
Are you still going with that? I thought that stopped.
Dude, you know, ever since I moved back to Buffalo Grove to where
Yeah.
I currently live, from where I live, which was the boonies, now they come out. They're all over the place. It's like my rule is if it's like 5 miles, I go. If it's over, I'm not going. If it's over 5 miles, dude, it keeps coming out. What am I gonna do? I gotta run for it. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep the streak going.
streaks 109 months, man. So here's an interesting story, real quick. So I went to an event. It was legitimately called My First Event. Okay, that's what it was called. And it's this woman who's a new cacher. She's got like 180 caches in or something like that. And she's one of those really enthusiastic ones. You know what I'm talking about? Like really enthusiastic about geocaching, you know? And so God bless her. And so she picked this place because she loves the food there. And the credit where credit's due, the food was fantastic. The problem is the place had like 4 tables.
Oh boy.
Oh,
At lunchtime.
oh,
Yeah.
Saturday. In Chicago weather. So it's not like you can go outside and eat. You know, it's like
right.
so you had 35 people packed into this place that was supposed to hold like 6, you know, and you
Oh
can't go
my.
outside. So it's like she just didn't think that through. Like, come on, you gotta think that through.
Uh-huh.
You know. So other than it was good, but like you gotta appreciate those really brand new enthusiastic cashers who just
Yeah,
love
bless
the
'em.
entire
Keep
game
things
about it
going.
and-
So my second event, much larger capacity.
I know. I was like, she didn't think this through. Come on.
Yeah.
But it was nice. But yeah, so got a bunch of caches, got 3 FTFs. The month's already done. February's in the books. So it was a good weekend.
Wow, that's awesome. Daz, how's it out on the West Coast?
Oh, it's warm. This February so far it's been in the 70s. Outlook is in the 70s for the next 10 plus days. So it's unusually warm. Unfortunately, this past weekend, I don't know, I got a flu bug or something that hit me pretty hard. I didn't make it out caching. And the only good thing I can really say about the weekend is the Patriots lost.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as Tom Brady's from, I remember Tom Brady when he played for Michigan. And so I was always kind of a Tom Brady, under closet type thing. And with the Eagles, with them never winning a Super Bowl, kind of like the Lions. And exactly
the
like
Lions never won a Super Bowl?
Lions
they really
have
never won?
They've never been in one.
No, never actually been in one.
Like there's
So-
3
Has
teams
anybody
that have
else-
never been in one.
Yes.
Who?
I want to say crap.
I'd have to look it up.
It's been on Trivia Crack
Well, let's
before,
put
and
it
I've
this
always
way,
been
this
able to
is
answer it
One of the
based on looking at based on looking at the teams. I was like, yeah, they suck. Yeah, they suck.
yeah.
Well, it's a bit
The
like
only thing
bit like
different.
Middlesbrough soccer team. They've never got anywhere. They've never got anywhere. They sort of get all hopes, start all bright, and all hopes and expectations, and then at some point around Christmas, they tend to get altitude sickness and then drop down the table like nobody's business.
See, the only thing different with when they look at the ultimate any sport team, there were the Cubs, somebody else, and the Lions. So as far as never been in
never won what? I mean, the Cubs won a World Series. It was 1908. That was
right,
the thing.
but it's been over 100 years.
Okay, so the Browns, the Jaguars, the Lions, and the Texans have never reached a Super Bowl.
The Texans,
the Jaguars and Texans get an excuse because they've only been around for
20 years or something.
Yeah, Texans have been around for less than that. So
Texas is less than that, but Jaguars have been around for 20 years.
Jaguars have been around 20 some odd years, but Browns have been around forever.
Oh, forever.
And so are the Lions.
Yeah, but didn't the Browns go away for a while and then come back? Didn't they?
I think they did.
Yes. They became they went away. Another team got a franchise. That franchise died. It got brought to back to Cleveland and renamed the Browns.
Dude, I don't even watch football. I know. Look at that. I don't even watch the game.
But that's just a good point of how much people love talking about it. So that's all part of it.
That's about my extent right there.
There
Football.
it is. So besides that, with Tad being, you're obviously feeling better now, but which is awesome, Taz. Sarah, how about yourself? How was it over in New Zealand?
Oh, I was going to say any of the cases down the west coast and the South Island need checking because that got really hammered by the storm that came through tail end of last week.
Yeah,
it's the roads washed out and things like that.
Beautiful pictures though that you put on Facebook. Those were gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fabulous day. Saturday I went out for a walk with the rest of the family and thought, there's about 4 cases in a nice close area. And we got about 300 meters from the first one. There was a sodding landslip across the track. So, and I could have got across it, but I was in walking sandals rather than hiking boots. So we decided, nah. And so I picked one. So the rest of the week was sort of park and grabs. But the puzzle came out on Monday, and normally these things go within half an hour. And there was a taunting note about it. 4 hours and still no FTFs? And I was sort of looking at it and thinking, I know there's something in this. And suddenly I was really, really bored at work on the Wednesday evening. And it's Wednesday afternoon. It suddenly clicked what it was. So a friend and I dashed over and got the first to find on it, which I think from memory the last one I got was way back in August. So I'm working on some Aussie puzzles at the moment because I'm heading over there at Easter.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. It must be something. I'm just not used to being able to sit there and say, I'm just going to hop on a plane and head over to wherever.
Well, I don't know. I don't normally. It's sort of. I just had a load of because I went back to the UK last year. I had a load of air points that were going to expire if I didn't do something with them, and there was enough of them to knock getting across the Tasman down to something that's almost affordable.
Yeah.
See, I could hop on the car and be to Canada.
That's what I was going to say. The only thing other than that was driving in the car and going over to Windsor, but that was for a totally different thing.
We don't need to go there.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing.
I've been there once. Let's go. I'm good.
You have your entertainment, other people have others. Anyhow, all right, so let's move on. We've got please consider becoming a patron to our show. Head on over to geocachingpodcast.com if you would, and click on either our PayPal or our Patreon logos. If you would throw a couple bucks at us each month to help keep things going, we would greatly appreciate it. And then Scott, you have your notes up because we're ready for the GCPC mailbag.
I do.
All right, let's do this.
I got mail. Yay! I got mail. Yay!
Yay! I tell you, man, ever since we got that, we get mail.
I know
every week.
We've got stuff.
Every week.
This is a good one, too.
Or unless Andy got really backlogged and now he's just dumping them all. I don't know which is true. There's no dates on these, so I don't know. All right, this is a
This is an
this is
update.
a update from Data Wrangler from Tallahassee, Florida. I want to remind you guys, if you don't remember, Data Wrangler is the guy who came on our show a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, if anybody has a virtual, I'm going to North Korea. I want to see if I can place it in North Korea." I was
Let's
all
open
for
up
it.
some interesting debate.
Yes, it was a nice debate. So we got a response back from him. Here it is. It goes, "Hi, gang. Just wanted to send a follow up to my email from episode 523, Geocaching Story Time, on the idea to place a virtual in North Korea. While over there next month on a vacation, my hope was to be able to find said virtual at the demilitarized zone of the DMZ, separating the Koreas. First of all, GeoJoe24 got in contact with me to offer her virtual reward since I don't have one to place. But she did concur with your suggestion to get prior approval from geocaching.com. Well, to make a long story short, they turned me down flat, citing the strict North Korean restrictions.
I'm shocked.
First off, kudos to GeoJoe24
Yes.
on willing to give up her virtual
yeah.
for that. 'Cause that's awesome.
Definitely.
Totally awesome. Second, I'm not shocked by this in any way that they denied him. However, I thought there might still be a chance, since at least the South Korean portion of the joint security area of the DMZ is under control of the United Nations Command Security Battalion. Say that 5 times fast.
Ah,
It is while under the jurisdiction that you can go to the North Korean side of the military Armistice conference room. I was able to find a way to get in touch. He got in touch with them.
I know, it's so
Literally got
impressive.
in touch with them.
I wonder what list he's on now.
I know, right? You're getting audited forever now. Dana. I was able to find a way to get in touch with them to ask whether it was possible to have your pictures taken with a GPSR to air quote prove you were in North Korea. I figured that if you can take a camera there, you should be able to take a GPSR. Unfortunately, they replied that the only electronic device allowed was a camera. So you can't even bring a phone. So you can't even like bring your
a camera.
Just need a camera with a geolocation.
I was gonna say, well, okay, what if you have a camera that's a GPSR with a camera?
I think their ones is 35 millimeter, and you still have to use the crank to get it over.
24 exposures. That's it.
That's it.
That's all you got.
Get the 36
12.
roll.
With that bit of information, I had to admit defeat. However, I remain hopeful that even if North Korea doesn't relent, maybe the UN Command Security Battalion at some point will. Thanks for your help at my attempt to tilt the windmills. That's a great. I always love a good Don Quixote reference. That's a well played on that. Data Wrangler from Tallahassee, Florida.
You know, it never hurts to ask.
Right? It never hurt. Although he needs to learn the old adage where it's better to ask for apology than ask for forgiveness than ask for apology. Is what
Yes.
You
With
do
my
need it up
wife.
front. Yeah.
I don't think that works with foreign powers very
No,
well.
especially
with
with
South
ones with a
Korea,
finger
not
on
with
the
North
button.
Korea.
It's like, yeah, I'll ask for forgiveness for pulling down this poster.
Yes.
See what happens.
Yeah.
I
No.
can't imagine there's not a shelf in that room where they could just put a cache there and on that shelf. You know, come on.
I'm
man,
just going for
really?
the travel bug, honest.
You know, put a little
Ugh.
container right there on the shelf. There's got to be a shelf in that room.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, a little
There
urn
must
or
be.
something that they can put up. I'm sure it'll go well.
Right.
What could happen? So yeah,
Data, good thought. It was
Good
a good
thought.
try.
Yeah,
Don't cheat on your taxes this the next couple of years.
or say anything of any of the buzzwords ever. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, I
Your
think you're
phones are
officially
being
tagged.
tagged right now.
Wow. So yeah,
Wow.
you know, it's an interesting toy, and it just goes to show what a geocacher will go through to accomplish something. And sometimes the word "no way in hell" is going to be the answer. So
But,
all part of the fun.
kudos to the cacher. Kudos to GeoJoe24.
Yeah, good stuff. We good people in the community.
You're a good. Yeah, you're good people, man.
That's awesome. All right, let's move on to the news. Taz, you all set?
Sure.
All right, let's do this.
The news. And I should have had it up here.
I've got it.
Not
You
even
want me
ready.
to?
Look, not even ready.
No,
So Info Ferret, go ahead.
Right, I found some odds and ends just prowling into web. So the first one's from all mine are get
Yeah, Scott, I saw
first two are
that.
mine are UK ones, so I make no apologies.
Andy, there's no way you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Because okay, I have to stop this. So Info wrote a couple of interesting bits and bobs. I read that. That's not what I read. Am I the
No.
only one? Come on.
No, you're not.
I'm 13. I know exactly where you're at.
Look, all I can say is when they launched that rocket yesterday, we all misheard Falcon Heavy as something completely different.
Bits and bobs. I don't even know what bits and bobs is.
Odds and ends,
Oh, so what bits and boobs?
bits and pieces. Take your pick. Anyway, from the Bristol Post, the headline is "The dead drop in Stokescroft may be more than it appears. It is part of a massive underground hobby, and those of us who don't know about it are called muggles."
Really?
It's got quite a good, yeah. And it sort of starts. The mystery deepens around a traffic light stash on one of Bristol's city centre roads. Last week, the Bristol Post published a story describing a moment a hooded man appears to take something from behind a traffic light and replace it with something else. The exchange was caught on camera by chance as one of our film crew shot a general view of Stokescroft. So as they say, never throw away your B-roll. It might come in useful.
Wait, what is Stokescroft? What is that?
It's a part of town. It's part of Bristol, apparently, or that area. In the original story,
like
it
a suburb?
speculated that the traffic light incident could be a dead drop, a method used by drug dealers or spies to exchange items without ever coming into contact with each other. After we published the story, we received many emails from members of Bristol's geocaching community saying the site was most likely a cache, but it appears that it might not be the case after all. And then explains what actually does quite a good explanation of geocaching, calling it a massive scavenger hunt.
Yep.
Describes it. A local guy called a cache can be very hard to find and difficulty varies. They can be hidden as in a disguised container or very small packages. And one element of difficulty is hiding them in urban locations where the hunter will have to avoid being spotted by muggles, the name given to those unaware of the sport. Muggles
Now the
will be
hoodie did
surprised-
not help. They actually have a picture of the gentleman at the sign, and it's literally the official hoodie over the head, and anybody in a hoodie automatically is a thug. So it's just that's
Yeah.
what it
North
is.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, Bristol
Wow.
veteran geocacher Jimmy Reeves, is also known as GeoJim15, talks about what they were doing, but he claims that he's got most of the caches in that area, but that is not one of his.
Ah.
So
But he got that one.
yeah. So anyway, after receiving, and then the reporter talks about geocaching and began some research of his own. After receiving an email saying it's not a drug drop, I started looking into geocaching. I found a cache in Stokescroft, exactly where the man had been filmed making the exchange at the traffic lights.
Was he wearing a hoodie?
The map said the owner of the cache was GeoJim15, so I sent him an email. Jimmy got back to me with loads of useful information about geocaching, but he insisted the caches he had set up on Stokescroft were not what we had caught on film. So anyway, the mystery continues, but it's quite a nice, it says, so the plot thickens. The owner of the only registered geocache in that area insists it isn't his. And so it appears likely that what the Post caught on camera was in fact a drug drop. However, along the way, we learnt of a massive underground hobby involving thousands of people taking place all across Bristol.
Wow.
So here's an interesting thing. I know a GeoGem 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh well.
Oh, where
Oh,
is
so that
that?
means there's another 10 between them?
Yeah.
So the main point of this whole thing is don't put a geocache near a webcam. And
Or near a
Why isn't the
roving
webcam a
reporter?
geocache is my question.
yeah.
No, it doesn't. And the next thing I've got, and I'm not going to, is the podcast show, or one word.com.
Uh-huh.
They're in episode 78, which is our latest episode, gives you a lot of information about events between Pirate Mania and the Yorkshire Mega, which are at one weekend after the other. And I'm
What the heck is the podcast show?
That's the one
Excuse
out
my
of
ignorance.
Germany, isn't it?
no, it's a another Brit one.
Oh,
And I know
okay.
you lot give me heaps for my accent, but if you want a proper Brit accent, listen to that one.
Really?
But there's things on every day between the two. So I'm looking and thinking, I'm going to be over there. How the hell am I actually going to see the relatives and not get this inheritance? But anyway, and finally, I've got a story from a couple of local cases from me, the Tabies and the Tabians, and
What?
it's a couple of people I know. One of the lad has a travel bug, which he released way back on the 8th of October 2015 with a mission for this toy car to go all around the world, back to where it was made and be picked up by the director of the company. So it went through. So it's gone all around the world from New Zealand right the way through and to Gummersbach. I cannot get German Swiss, so something like that. Family from Gummersbach discovered the Siku vehicle in a hiding place at Eltz Castle, and then they brought it to the Siku vehicle to the Model Welt, which I think is a factory area, where it was welcomed by the managing director of the company.
That's rare.
And it's now on display in its own showcase there, in its route from New Zealand via China, Scandinavia, and the Baltic through to Ludenscheid. I'm mangling that pronunciation. I am very sorry. Is documented, and apparently it's done 31,000 kilometers in that time.
Wow. You know,
So
that's rare to have
sometimes
one actually hit a goal like that.
Yeah.
I can't think of any where they've actually gotten to where they're supposed to in a case like that.
The podcast show actually won an NGA award for the
Really?
British Irish National Geocaching Award.
Yeah, there's some awards that go out that because like Paul with he's won some awards as well that are for some reason that part of the planet, and they don't include us fine folks here in the United States.
Well,
the podcast show was voted best social media cast in the UK National Geocaching Awards.
Yeah,
they have National Geocaching Awards in UK.
Yeah, and we do not.
We do not. That's something. That's weird.
Yeah, but anyway, but it's good. If you listen to that from about 11 minutes in, you can find out all about what's happening between the 2 megas. 2 megas, 2 weekends, yay! Do I sound excited about this?
Well, that's good stuff. Thank you, Sarah, for doing that. And we'll have all the links to those that for the news in our show notes when it goes out tonight.
I knew there was. I never even knew she existed.
Yeah, because there's another one that they call Podcaster, but I thought it's out of Germany. And the ones that I've listened to at that one, it's basically they go out to events and out geocaching, and it's all done recorded while they're out actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of that one is as well. So
yeah,
but it was
interesting.
Stuff.
I'm sure they've never heard of us either.
Probably not. Well, with the 12 people that listen to our show, it's understandable.
All I can say is you think I've got an accent. Have a listen to that.
Yeah,
Talk proper up there.
Yeah, and I do know with the podcast out of Germany.
Listen to Mark every other weekend. I hear it.
The content that they go over on that one, and Scott would truly appreciate it. The air horn would be going off quite a bit. So on what they talk, they talk about a lot of other stuff that we're a little more family friendly.
Who does?
The podcaster show out of Germany.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So like me and Walt were.
I've learned some things that I can't unlearn. I'm just saying.
Oh, me and Walt were like that too. Me and Walt.
Oh yeah.
I like that as well.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. But it makes it interesting. Go check them out. It's good stuff. Let's move on to tonight's episode: geocaching tools of the trade, past and present, because it has changed so much. I was looking at I have Time Hop, which goes through and basically goes back through all your social media, all your photos that you have stored, all that fun stuff, and it pulls out a collection for each day through the years what you've gone through. And one of the ones that I saw was Amanda, my daughter, and I were coming back from CacherCon in 2010, and it was like a Chicago day that Scott's going through right now as we're driving through the mountains and all that fun stuff. Because thank you, Daryl W, for having a convention in Michigan in February. Because
Leave it to
the
Daryl.
fun.
You know what he'll say? You didn't have to go. You didn't have to
I
go.
know. It was fun. We had a good time. It was a good thing to go through. But one of the things that I saw in some of the pictures were some of the tools that we had to use to get at the geocaches. And back then, I know geocaches that had those giant tubs, storage tubs full of things that they would put in the back of their car and go geocaching just in case. We used to joke about it, about the Batman utility belt that you needed to go geocaching because there were so many gizmos and different things that you have. And over time, I think that whole thing has changed. And one of the things that I want to discuss tonight as we go through this is it that people just aren't as creative as they used to be when putting out geocaches? Because there were ones out there that you had to use specialty devices for a good percentage of the geocaching that you want. You had some basics that you needed to go out. And I don't know nowadays if that's as true as it was.
I think that was also back in the day when you had a lot less urban caches, and so you didn't expect to go cache.
Yes.
You expected to spend some time getting to and finding that cache.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go through some of the stuff and we can just kind of pick through this. I've got a list of standard things that you'll find in a geocache. And if you've got ideas of other ones that aren't on the list, please bring them up. But a lot of this stuff nowadays, look at flashlights. Do you remember flashlights back before LEDs?
Oh yeah. Even with moving to the LEDs and the prices and how much they've come down to get a high powered flashlight. I mean, I think this guy here, I think I spent about $40 on, and it was cheap at the time. It's got a pair of 18650 batteries in it, and it's like 1100 lumens. And right now I can get one of these for about $10 on Amazon. That's every bit as good.
Yeah. One of the things I've got here to talk about flashlights, you go, wow, what a great flashlight. Hey, wait a minute, it's blue. This is a UV light,
right?
to use for things like that. You don't get to use it as much anymore.
No, you never see UV caches anymore. Rare.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
They tend to come out
Maybe in a
events, and that's
mega, Yeah. You just don't see them anymore.
And nowadays you got them on your freaking phone. I mean, it's amazing how it's changed over the years.
What's funny is for years, I just recently took them out. For years, I had 3 glasses in my caching bag.
Really?
Because caches, yeah. And I don't need. I finally took them out. I'm like, I haven't used these in like 4 years. I'm taking them out of my bag.
But don't use your flashlight or your cell phone flashlight for caching, except for in emergency purposes.
Yes, good point.
Because it'll eat the battery, and you've got it's such a poor quality compared to spending $9 on a decent quality Krieg LED flashlight that gives you somewhere in the 7,000 to 1,000 lumen range, which is all you really need.
Yeah, I mean, you got ones out there now that they put warnings on: do not put near eyes or anything like that, because there's so many.
It will blind you.
Yes.
I don't even know what mine. I think mine's a $35 one. I think I've used the same one for 10 years.
Yep.
Well, I've got a head torch I use for some things, and others I want a fairly powerful light. I think it's meant to go on a boat or something, but it's really useful for night caching.
Yeah, and they've come creative. Totally, I don't know if it's American or not, but it seems like it for us. Is the ball cap with the different LED lights that are in the
integrated into the rim? Yeah,
I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah. Good stuff. Let's see. Some of the clothes, of course, we talked about extra socks. Now, Scott's good for this because I've actually seen him in some of the Periscope sessions where I think it was about this time of year that Scott actually, they're out in the lake with some of his friends geocaching, and you were like ankle deep in water.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have
it's
to
like,
be. So.
Dry feet are overrated.
I switched from carrying extra socks to wearing a sock that wicks the water away, and so it doesn't, so your foot doesn't feel like sopping wet with if once it's gotten wet.
I've tried those socks that you use. The problem, I mean, those give me horrible athlete's foot. Those socks.
really.
Yeah, the socks that he's talking about.
The
They feel like
secret's take them off when you're done.
maybe it's just I get sweaty feet, and so maybe
Mhm.
that's it. But like horrible. Yeah, like I noticed because I've tried those before.
Huh.
And
Yeah,
totally-
so it works for some, not for others. So
yeah, oh yeah, it's all everybody knows
Right.
their own body. Like I need
Exactly.
breathable. I breathe.
Mhm.
I am
Mhm.
definitely no doubt a sweater in any shape and every. If it's 50 degrees out and I'm doing something, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
It's one of those. That's just my body's. I'm a sweater.
Yep. I
So it's
am
like
myself.
I have to be able to breathe.
This is something that has really had a real big change in, and what I'm talking about are pens. Do you remember when the space pens were like the thing to get?
Mhm.
Because you could write underwater, you could write up, you can write down,
Yep.
and all the rest of them. I don't see as much of an advertisement for those kind of things anymore. I don't know.
No, I don't see
I
advertisements.
don't, but I still promote them. I know I love
Yeah.
mine. I've had it for about 10 years, and it's still going strong. So
Oh, yeah.
I've had mine.
I
since
agree with the comment about lots of pens because the
I
odds
do.
are the one that never fails you will refuse to write at the critical point.
And you're 3
Well-
miles out when you do it.
Well, see, that's my Fisher Space Pen, and when I'm caching locally, it's always in my pocket because it's hanging on my car keys. And then when I cache when I go places to cache, I put it on the rental car keys, so I make sure that I have it.
Yeah.
Just don't forget it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Or drop
usually
it.
you get the dollar store and you get the pack of 10 and throw that in
Right,
your
yeah.
bag.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to use a regular pen for regular signing and stuff like that. But if I've forgotten my regular pen, I've always got that backup.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of pens in my backpack. Just to have them in there.
Oh yeah, because you just never know.
I don't want to waste the ink on my special pen.
Let's see. Carabiners have changed a lot. That's one of the things that if you go to a hardware store, and we're usually right around the key section or where they have stuff like that, they've got S-biners and carabiners with multiple carabiners and just about everything that you can think of in size and shape that they've got now. And I have to admit, if you are out with your GeoPet, usually a dog, carabiners are a lifesaver because it is so nice to be able to have that at the end of the leash and just unhook and just wrap it and hook it and away you go.
Right.
It's awesome.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
they have changed over time. They're more sturdy. Before they, you still don't want to go rock climbing with them, but it's just they've become a lot more convenient for especially hikers. If you want to strap a bunch of things to your backpack, those kind of carabiners, especially the big S ones.
Sure.
Did I say that? Yes, I did. Big S. That
I don't like the big S ones, but okay.
really?
So
Scott,
I
are you a big S fan? I'm
Am
just
I a big
curious.
S fan?
Yeah.
I like the clippy ones, the clip, the big.
Yeah.
clip.
that's
Now
so cool.
I'll
I
take
tend
I'll
not to
take
use
the
them.
regular one and I'll put it my belt through it, and then I'll clip my GPS onto that as opposed to onto a belt loop because a belt loop can break.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely true. I'm sorry, Sarah.
Well,
what was saying?
I tend not to take dogs with me, so it's not something I've used. But that's quite a useful thing to think about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, and once you start using them, it's like, how did I not get around doing this?
Mhm.
Because you can
I
strap
was
it
gonna
around
say you
anything.
You jumped past one. You mentioned the towel, which is it's something
yeah.
I tend to keep in the car rather than in the pack.
Oh
It's
no.
sort of useful for if you've got, as I say, you've got your wet feet to try and at the end of a trail to try and dry your feet off so you can at least end the day with dry socks and spare shoes.
I don't know. There's certain things, and Scott, you can just play with this as any way you want. You stick your hands in certain things while you're geocaching. It's you.
Yeah.
You need your towel.
Not even that, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about again summertime.
Sweating.
I need my
Exactly.
sweat. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my god, my thing is like I can wring it out by the end of it.
And even a very lightweight hiking towel doesn't take a, even if you're carrying it with you, it doesn't take up that much space if you've got a decent
Yeah.
Not at all.
backpack.
Yeah, I got a golf towel in my glove box and a golf towel in my backpack.
Yep. Yep.
I got one of those REI ones. The it's like a holds a. It's awesome. It's made for like that exactly that kind of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. It
Oh,
like,
yeah.
absorbs it. It's great.
Has a definite purpose. Bug
Yeah.
spray has changed over time, and I remember times, especially when you're in North Carolina, where you're in the buckle of the tick belt. People really don't care about their own personal self when it comes to bug spray. I know people that have been dipped in in bug spray that technically most chemists say really should not do that.
It's
But
like put a gallon of DEET on to keep that
Yes.
one tick away.
exactly,
Yeah.
they will literally submerge themselves in DEET, and it's like, just don't get it in your eyes.
Yeah, but you get like Chicago in June after a rainstorm. I
Uh-huh.
mean, forget about it. It's a nightmare. You
Is
have
it
to.
really that bad there? I did not know
Oh,
that.
God, you have to. You can't.
Oh, so Houston with the mosquitoes. I mean, that's
yeah.
it's
No,
it's
I'm saying Chicago in June after a rain, mosquitoes are a nightmare. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah,
It's
almost
basically
uncatchable.
anywhere-
mosquitoes
Anywhere
are a
that's-
nightmare in Houston. It doesn't matter whether it's been a rainstorm or not.
Yeah,
I mean,
Michigan, it's a state bird. So
I mean, the Sugarland's baseball team are the Skeeters for a reason. They will pick you up and fly you away.
yeah, I remember years ago, not geocaching related, but I remember camping with my folks, and we went up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to Whitefish Point, and or actually it was to Quantico Falls actually, and I remember Dad pulling up in front of the ranger station, and you could not see the station because it was swarming so bad. They hadn't sprayed in like 3 weeks, and the mosquitoes had swarmed so bad it looked like something out of a horror movie with just clouds of mosquitoes going on.
Yeah.
And they got those wonderful, I refer to as the zebra, because they're black with white stripes, and those suckers, man, they will pick you up and take you somewhere
That
to go with it.
Oh god, that reminds me of 30 years, not quite 30 years ago, when we went round a camping holiday and round the Highlands and Islands of Scotland, and we're on Skye, and this shows you how long ago it was, before the bridge was there. But we were staying at a campsite called Sligan, and we went to the pub for the evening, and then came back out to the campsite, and it was like a curtain of mosquitoes.
Yep.
Midges actually, but still bite you, and it still bloody itches. So yeah, but
It's-
now you could have almost needed a net or something to get rid of them and
Yeah,
just drag
yeah,
them out
no
the
doubt.
way.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Bug spray, I mean, that's a must have, no matter pretty much wherever you're at.
Yeah.
It just
Oh, yeah.
depends on what you
Well,
want to keep away from you.
Although I haven't needed it out here. There's some people that say that the mosquitoes are bad out here. You know, I've heard 2 mosquitoes in the 2+ years that I've lived out here buzz by, and it's like, that's it. That's the extent of it. It was like,
Maybe
you know,
that's bad.
it's like I would go to the from my door to the car in the morning in Houston and have more mosquito activity than I've had in the entire time I've lived out here in California.
Wow. Well, that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely something you want to keep in your pack for that. This is one that's I don't know if it's changed much or not. It has for me. I've condensed a lot. First aid kits. I used to have the industrial one with me in case there was, the plague or something, that you were ready for just about anything. And that has narrowed down in size to one in my big backpack, one in my little backpack, and one in my car.
Yeah, I got a big one in the trunk and a nice. I got a big first aid kit in the trunk of my car, and I've got like a little one in my bag.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one probably about the size of a pencil case that goes into my tramping bag if I'm going any distance.
I don't need the zombie apocalypse brand. I've got I don't know, maybe a 8x8x4 inch one, and then another smaller one that's maybe 2 inches by 4 inches by 6 inches, just enough to have some band-aids, a little bit of cleanup, things that you need.
Right. Yeah, because I'll tell you what,
Actually, I
we'll
have
go
3
through
in my car.
Band-Aids.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually have 3 in my car because I coach baseball, and every year they give the coaches to give you a big first aid kit just
Oh,
in
yeah.
case.
Oh, that's
So I
nice.
have 3 of those. I have like 3 of those in my car, in my truck.
Ah.
I don't take them out as leave them. I have like a sectioned off portion of my trunk that has for that stuff, and they're all in there. So like, if you ever I'm the guy you want to go to if you get hurt out in the woods and we're near my car.
I'm sorry, I've been a Boy
Nothing to-
Scout forever. Be prepared is my motto, and I just love having that there. And
Mhm.
a couple of times
One-
it's come in handy when nobody else had it. So
Sure, absolutely. Oh yeah. One thing that you didn't have the list, I added to it.
Yeah.
That's kind of new. It's a recent thing. Is the iPhone external battery and cord.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
excellent.
And
How's
any
that for
sort of battery
becoming?
pack.
Yeah, how's that for a
AKA
tool
a
this-
power pack for everyone else with a smartphone.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
remember
but you can't
before,
forget
way
the
back
cord. You
when,
gotta remember the cord.
Yeah.
The cord
back
too.
when you just had to carry extra phone batteries that you would buy just to keep your phone going with
Yep.
that,
Mm.
and that
And
has
hope
gone
it didn't
away.
get wet as you swap them over.
And again, guys, you can go to Target, get what you can get. You can get
Yes.
the charger and the cord for a total like $10, guys, in Target. There's
Yep.
Yeah.
no reason you can be doing it.
And make sure you
Everybody
look
should
at
have that in their
and
bag.
Chad will back me up on here. Check the MAH number
Yep.
involved with it. That'll tell you how much juice that you can have. So, for example, if you've got an iPhone, to fully charge it, that takes say 5,000 MAH. If you've got a 10,000 MAH battery, you can fill it twice. So that kind of keep
Mhm.
that in mind. And they are great for keeping your phone topped off if you're using it as your GPS while you're going through.
Right.
Those
But
are
I wouldn't
awesome.
use it I would only use it in emergency. I really wouldn't use it just to use it. I mean, you could probably get a full day of caching it, most of the full day.
Yep.
With
Nah,
iPhone battery.
I mean, if I'm getting below 60-70%, I'll plug it up and just have it sitting in my pocket,
Yeah.
and charging, because I'm one of these people. I like to have my phone topped off.
I do too. I have.
You don't let it get to 20%. He's not a red battery
Yeah.
kind of guy.
No, that's
No.
too close to something catastrophic happening just because it can.
And frequently does. So yeah.
Because
I mean,
because
my phone
if it
drops
gets
that
down,
below about
if it gets down to 20%, that's when that power pack is going to fail it.
yeah.
Yeah, and the nice thing is with the I don't know, do they actually have power packs enough to keep up with the what is it? They have the 1 point, the 2.4, and I forget what the 3 point is now for the like the Google Pixels have. You can fast charge those suckers.
You're talking
in,
about
like,
fast charging? Yeah. So Anker, ANKER makes some good quality fast chargers. So does what's that? Something Giant. But there's a couple brands out there that make some pretty good quality fast charging ones that go to the latest standards.
Yeah, and it's amazing because even worst case scenario, now is the time you can use a fast charger in your car, plug in your phone, and in 15 minutes you've got a vast amount of that filled up. So
Yep.
no,
Just hope your car battery doesn't run flat.
yeah, I haven't seen the studies on those yet.
Yeah, it's not going to drain your car battery.
Yeah, a little bit, especially
I'm
if
just
No.
stirring.
yeah, good stuff.
I saw. Well, yeah, mentioned yet. I don't think that. A multi-tool.
Oh, Leatherman, yeah, you get into that,
Yeah.
and that's the big debate: is Swiss Army knife versus multi-tool.
I have a multi-tool on my hip whenever I'm in the room.
Yeah, I've got several
I've
of
used it
both.
1,000 times.
Yeah,
1,000 times I've used it. Yes.
something as simple
Absolutely.
as getting a log out of a bison tube or a nano to you name it.
Oh, yeah.
There's-
Oh my God. Anything.
yeah.
Oh God. I've used that thing. I mean, at least once every time I go out. Probably
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah, I would say that is definitely in the top 2 or 3 things to have in your pack, because that one, like you said, constantly something somewhere is going to go on. I like the multi-tools for, like, mine's got a little pliers on it because sometimes it's
Yep, so
just
is
a
mine.
little stuck that you need to get something or to reach in and grab something.
Oh yeah.
Mine's even like needle nose-ish kind of, so you can
Oh,
even
yeah.
get
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah, in
nice-
different sizes. I've got ones that are this big that have 12 tools on them, and I've got the big ones that that I keep on my belt loop. So it's you can.
Then you got tweezers for the car. I mean, I don't
yeah.
bring tweezers with me. I don't carry tweezers with me, but I got tweezers in my car.
Yeah.
Oh, my Swiss Army knife has
That's where
tweezers in it, and also the little toothpick
That is-
thing is good for those micro logs. It's like
or wrapping them up.
wrapping them up too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been known to use a needle if I've got one of my, because I quite often have a sewing kit with me, or a safety pin's quite good for either getting a pesky log out of a container
Oh,
or
yeah,
rolling
safety
it
pin, sure.
back around to get
Yeah.
it back in.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those are definitely necessities for that because it's just it's crazy where you'll sit there and go, oh, this is so convenient.
I think it's sort of sod's law that whatever you need is the one thing you don't have with you at that particular moment.
Right. So if you have
Oh, yeah.
500 tools with you, then it better be a pretty good thing.
So when you need it, you're 10 miles away from the car, and it's in the tub on the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
In your little console next to your seat. That's where
Yep.
mine is. The other one that we haven't touched on this too is I love mirrors. I've got one back when I worked at Revlon at the factory. I would get the ones where they had the compact shell, and it had a magnifier one on one side, and the other side had a standard mirror, and it was probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 inches. It was a little bigger than you would really have, so I just kept it in my pack. But I'll tell you what, when you get to a bridge and you know the geocache is in the bridge somewhere under it, around it, somewhere in there, and you've got 5,000 little nooks and crannies, it is so nice to be able to, or down a guardrail, to sit there and just angle the mirror in there so that you can look down to see where it's at. It will save you a lot of time.
And your smartphone and selfie mode makes for a
Yeah.
decent emergency mirror.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, I've used that.
You know, I've got in my hiking bag, I got 2 extender things. They go about 4 feet. One is a mirror.
Yep.
That goes about 4 feet, and one is a magnet.
Magnet.
Mm.
Yep.
The mirror I've never used in probably 8 years. It's never.
Yeah, I actually have a security with an inspection mirror that they call them. That I use. That
Yeah,
in.
right. Yeah. The magnet one I've used a bunch of times, and it
Mhm.
saved my butt a bunch of times. But like,
Mhm.
The other one that I
never
have
used
that's
it.
an extender and it fits in your pocket like a pen too is a hook. They use it for pulling wires in between walls, and I've
Oh,
used
yeah.
that.
Oh,
for
yeah.
stuff.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, like Tess said, mainly because it's in my bag because I have my phone,
Yes.
and I could quickly even
Exactly.
sometimes if it's a hole, Jesse will just take a camera in there, turn a flash on, take a picture of it, and look. Is it
Yep.
there?
I've
I've done that
as
before.
well.
I've stuck my hand into
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
What's it?
Yeah, those are especially great for like when it's hole that's you got to look down in before you try to stick your hand in there, take that picture.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one that I've used several times or watched somebody use several times because they dropped something is a magnet and some twine or string. There's
Mm.
a lot of times somebody has dropped the geocache in a sewer or
You butterfinger that nano.
can't get it and use a magnet.
Well, duct tape the magnetic the extendable magnet on the extendable.
Yeah.
Mine's a golf ball retriever. I've done
Right.
it.
Yeah, duct tape I've used as well, just like that. You have something extended down and nothing quite works with it, but the duct tape just kind of
I just
And
emailed
I've used duct tape.
and apologize is all I do.
Yeah.
I've used
Sorry.
duct tape on the end of an extender to retrieve plastic items as well. Just flip it around backwards and
And true confession time now. I've used duct tape or electrical tape a few times. You get to one of those field puzzles where it's bring water, and there's always one hole you can never quite reach. Or
Duct
One-
tape.
Yep.
that shut.
that's
Yeah.
I've
brilliant.
been known to
exactly.
just make
That's
sure,
brilliant.
I've been known to use just little squares of duct tape and cover over a few of the holes so that you can actually do it.
Oh my
Get
God!
the
You know, I
cage and then-
never
and make
had that
sure you take it off
situation, but that
afterwards.
is brilliant.
Oh, I've come up to some where you see the duct tape residue left over from other people doing that.
Or electrical
In
tape
the
works
car.
quite well on
Absolutely, my
that as
train.
well. It's not as
Yeah,
sticky, but it's
that gets
sticky.
okay.
It's sticky enough to mean you can get the thing without needing about 15 people all hold it.
Oh yeah,
Plugging
that's
home.
brilliant. Yeah, I keep a good roll of Gorilla tape in mine.
Mm.
So
I was going to say,
it-
if your tape doesn't rip very well, you'll probably need something to cut it into smallish pieces.
well, that's what your Leatherman and your Swiss Army knives are.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's like
You know, being
MacGyver.
winter
All
right
you need is duct tape, a paper clip, and a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, no kidding.
And half a
Wow.
ton of
Being
insect
it's
repellent.
being it's winter, we also in Chicago we also have with a spit is going to have a rubber mallet in their car.
Oh yeah, you got to wake
Mm.
up those basically everything, especially the skirt hides and stuff.
Yeah,
They like to
those
freeze
frozen
up.
skirt hides. Ding ding, couple tabs of rubber mallet comes right up.
Oh yeah.
Now that's
Hmm.
something we very, very rarely need in New Zealand because it's very rare that we're out caching in snow. But the one thing I stuck at the end of the list is if you're going out into the backwoods or away out into the country more than it's worth taking a paper map of the area if you're going on the trails, just in case your phone does die on you.
Oh yeah.
So you get a chance of getting back. I know that's old tech. And if you're doing a seriously long trip and it's expensive, but you can hire them, a personal locator beacon.
Yeah, because they still have. I haven't seen those advertised as much.
They
as
still make
anymore.
those now? Yeah, I remember they did those for a
PLBs,
while.
yeah.
The prices are coming down, or they're more reasonable, and you can do short periods as opposed to the year-long leases on them. So, or not leases, but
I'd say a lot of our places, if you can hire them for. I think Paul had one not last Christmas before, and it was something like $10 a day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, think of it. For the people who hire them, it's insurance on not having to get out an extended search and rescue team.
Yeah, and those work off a satellite, so it's not you don't even have to worry about hooking into a phone antenna somewhere. They literally go satellite with that, which is awesome.
And again, that's the classic thing of you hope to God you never need it. But if you do need it, it is worth it. And
yep,
I'm going out on a walk this weekend, and I'm taking our family one with me.
Yeah,
and we had a guy here last year that no more than 30 miles away from me, it saved his beacon on a 5-5 trail up on Lake Folsom, and he had to use it, and the guy wound up archiving the person that had the trail out there wound up archiving it because he felt it was too dangerous after that.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, until you need it, and you think about it, and I remember watching one of the guys that get dropped out in the middle of nowhere and have to find their way back kind of show. And he says, you realize, especially if you're doing the filming by yourself and not having 22 personal cameramen around you.
Bear Grylls.
Yeah, you go out by yourself. He said, all it takes is a poke in the eye, a wrenched foot or ankle or leg or something like that. And suddenly you are in
a rock pinning your arm.
Pinning your arm.
Just go up on the trail and twist your ankle so you can't.
And you're suddenly in a dire situation that you need help, and you're out in the middle of God's country. That's not a thing that you want to have, and you want to have that little device there just in case. Wow.
One thing that I'm a recent adopter to that I firmly believe in now is a hiking stick.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Love my hiking stick. Love my hiking stick.
Love mine as well. Yep.
A couple weeks ago, I was out caching with Jesse and Cody. I had my stick with me, the one I periscoped on the water.
Yeah.
And I had my stick with me. And they were bitching and moaning because we were going through thorns, and they were bitching and moaning me. I'm just clearing it out.
Oh, yeah.
Just moving.
Awesome.
It's useful for that. I don't particularly like hiking poles to walk with, but they are useful for moving brambles out the way, or even if you're looking at an area and you know that cache is somewhere around the tree, you poke until you hear a different sound.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I like it. Poke it with a stick is my number one rule. So I'm a huge fan of poke it with a stick.
Get the collapsible ones and strap it to your backpack when you're out hiking. When you don't need it, don't use it. When you need it, pull it out.
Yeah, I've got one that's in three
That's
pieces that screws together. That'll turn into a 6-foot pole for that. I mean, and it
Mine is
seems so
saving-
simple.
mine
You
is-
can get away with just grabbing a stick, but when you've got something sturdy,
Oh
when you
yeah,
need it,
totally. I mean, dude, how many times it saved me a couple times already, like just crossing a log
Oh,
over
yeah.
a stream and stuff like that. You know, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, Saved me from falling in 50 feet into a ravine. So
there you go.
Fair
Whatever
enough.
work. Whatever
Firm believer
works.
in the old of the old hiking stick, man.
Yeah,
Love my hiking
love it.
stick.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've run out of time, and we've got a mile-long list, and we're going to put this in our show notes so you can check those out as well. And if you've got your favorite tool of the trade, by all means, write us over at geocachingpodcast.com and let us know what your favorite tools of the trade. Obviously, they're still in use. I don't think there's some changes over time, but you still got to have that Batman utility belt in certain circumstances, and it's good to have. All right, good stuff. Well, we want to thank Taz and Sarah and Scott for all the things that they do, and we want to thank you, fine folks, for stopping on by and giving a listen to us. We greatly do appreciate it. All right, I think, guys, we are all set. Let's wrap this up. Thank you for subscribing to the Geocaching Podcast. Please be sure to join us each and every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of the Geocaching Podcast, right here on the Geocaching Podcast website at www.geocachingpodcast.com/live. The video version of our show is available on YouTube, and the audio version is available on our home website, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and many of your favorite podcatchers. We love hearing from our viewers and listeners, so please visit us through our social media sites or contact us via our voicemail line at 630-31-VOICE. The Geocaching Podcast is a Head Hard Hat production and is produced by Andy Smith, Scott Burks, Chad Courtney, and Sarah T.S. This show is copyright 2018 by Andrew T. Smith. All rights reserved. And clear. All right, good stuff. All right, thanks, folks, for stopping on by. That was really good discussion and a lot of fun to talk about. And it's just amazing all the memories when we go through stuff like this that pop up of, oh, God, I remember when this happened. And it's neat to go through that. And I hope that happened with you fine folks as well, listening to us as we rambled on. All right, guys, thank you so much for everything. And we will see you next week on the Geocaching Podcast. Bye-bye, folks.